welcome back, all of my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, remember, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. We would appreciate that very, very greatly. So please go ahead and do that if you haven't done so already. Also, please share the show with your friend. If you are a fan or just enjoy the show, please go ahead and share the show with your friends or whomever you see fit. Remember, you can respond to this week's Q&A, this week's question, by going to the description of the episode in Spotify. Scrolling down, you should see a comment section there, and you can post your comment, and I'll read that comment out loud on the next week's following episode. This is an ad-supported show, so we have an ad break right after, about 10 minutes into the show, or after I'm done reading out the comments from the previous week's episode, whichever kind of comes first. And then, please go ahead and join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us, where you can post things all podcast-related. And, we will also do a poll every single week, so I'll read out the results of last week's poll. So last week's poll, wow, oh my goodness, what a blowout. Jeez, holy crap. Wow, I guess I'm learning a lot about you guys. This is kind of crazy. So last week's poll was, would you rather have science advance 200 years tomorrow or have magic be real? And it was like 85%, we had one vote in favor of science advancing, and all of the votes were for magic being real. Y'all are some fantasy people, I guess, now. That's kind of crazy. I think it's just, did everyone just watch Lord of the Rings recently or something? Or is it like The Hobbit? Are we going, or like, is everyone just kind of on their Christmas Harry Potter binge thing going on here? Or like, what's the deal? I mean, to be honest, magic does sound pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. But I don't know, science advancing 200 years, that seems like cool. That just seems so realistic, like to what the world actually is. If magic became real, then it's like, I don't know, then it doesn't feel as authentic, because then I would just know that the world wasn't magic before and that we had to wish it into being magic, and then I see the conflict that I'm dealing with here, guys. This is the everyday conflict of what a philosophy student has to deal with. Yeah, I know. It's just terrible. Please don't wish this upon yourself. The struggle is real. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so then I guess, why don't I just read out the Would You Rather for this week? Because I always seem to forget to say it. So the Would You Rather for this week is, when you die, would you rather not exist indefinitely or reincarnate as a human indefinitely? So either after you die, it's just nothing, you just don't exist, or it's just a never-ending reincarnation. So think about this carefully. It's never-ending reincarnation, and you're going to have some perspective and knowledge of that information on some sort of soul level. There's no escaping it. It's never-ending reincarnation. So think carefully about that one, folks. I guess we'll see what the results are going to be. All right, why don't we read off the comments from last week's episode? So last week's episode was, what ruined your Thanksgiving? Because I was pandering to my American audience who celebrates American Thanksgiving. As of recently, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving in America. We Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving in October, which is, I think, personally, the more logistical time to host Thanksgiving. But you know what? That's America for you. America's full of really interesting contradictions, interesting different little tidbits of, holidays, information, different, celebrations. It's a melting pot. You gotta take it for what it is. It's not everything makes sense in America, which is fine, because that's the American way. Not everything has to make sense. That's freedom. All right. All right. So first one comes from JJ. Okay, Thanksgiving. So backstory, me and my brother are adopted from two different black families. So black families to white. So all of our relatives are white. We get to my grandma's house, and the first thing I see is the evil dried up turkey. So it's like that turkey from National Lampoon's Christmas. You open it up, it's just super dry. Cloud of smoke, cloud of steam comes out of it. So anyways, I see my uncle, and he's already annoying the fuck out of me. Last time we were in Disney World, we took them, and he yelled at this guy. So I go get food. I take one look, and I'm sorry, Grandma, but this looked nasty. So I got mashed potatoes and got made fun of. I mean, it's your family, so they're gonna make fun of you. But you know what? I'm not going to defend the white person Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving, personally, I mean, there's not as much what I think, some in America, like, all different types of people in America, whether you're white, black, some other mixture, some places and people prioritize like the soul food type of Thanksgiving, which that is not something that we do at my place. But I will say my mom is a phenomenal cook, like fantastic. So it doesn't even matter what she makes, because it's like we usually have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, so it's like turkey, pierogies is a huge thing. We always have pierogies. I don't know if that's much of an American thing, but we always have pierogies. They're so good. Bacon like all over them, stuffing, mashed potatoes, like all sorts of different. We have like more stuff too. Oh, ham. We do a big ass ham. That's always awesome. We do usually some kind of special bread, like, I don't know, it's not like they're buns, but we usually have something else, like pumpkin pie, you already know. Like, but it is phenomenal. We do a similar thing for Christmas, and it's just like, I need to spend more time soaking up that information from my mom, because if I don't carry that tradition on, I'm going to seem like the biggest letdown. Like, oh, Luke, you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to be like, so what does everyone want from KFC? Popeyes, anybody? Next one comes from Dusty. For the prompt, I don't have anything. But when I was at my sister's Thanksgiving with my parents, after the picture, I was chasing my nephew around, who's 3 years younger than me, and I was getting closer, and a perfect-sized hole caught my foot, and I absolutely ate it in that field. But I found a cool stick, so that makes up. Okay, that does make up. Nothing satisfies the human desire more than a cool stick. For the poll, both would be cool, but scary, since there would be new jigsaw horror contraptions like having your brain removed with no senses and just your thoughts and nothing else. Wait, what? The poll, science advancing or magic being real? Scary. What? Like having what? Is that because of magic? Where is your brain going on this? I don't know if I'm connecting the same dots, Dusty. Next one comes from Lolly Porty. Bro, you didn't have to violate me like that. I know my grammar isn't the best, but it's not that bad. Sorry, I don't even remember what I said, but I'm always just poking fun. I didn't mean to get too personal with it. Personally. We don't actually celebrate Thanksgiving in Finland. Oh, you're from Finland, so I don't have a story. Still an amazing episode, and always much love to you and, of course, your family. Well, thank you so much for that. Do you guys have, a different holiday around I think you guys, because partially our Canadian Thanksgiving actually has more to do, the timing has more to do with European traditions than it does American traditions in certain senses, because, the Canadian Thanksgiving has partially some of its origin in the harvest festivals in Germany and stuff. So I'm curious if you guys have similar a harvest festival, is Oktoberfest, that's a German thing, but do they celebrate harvesting, or is that just beer only? Yeah, we got all the grains from this year's harvest, and we've put them and fermented them, so we drink a lot of beer. That's why we do it, because it celebrates the harvest, so it's a lot of beer. It's a very characteristic German accent. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. I went to a Friendsgiving one. Oh, Friendsgiving, such a great opportunity to be very strange and awkward. Because, it's all your friends, and some of them are also not your friends because they're friends of friends, and it's hard to bite your tongue when you're around some of these folks. It's like your uncle still ends up making it there. Like your crazy uncle with the crazy opinions still ends up making it there in the form and embodiment of just like some weird dude and his like very weird girlfriend. It was like they start massaging each other's feet like after. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like this is who said like this is not like this? We're at the table. Some of us are still eating. What why didn't you not wear socks? Like you just barefoot? Like all the time? Why are the bottom of your feet black? Potluck meal, and the host told me what to bring. I brought it and put it in the oven to keep it warm and covered. When it was time to eat, we took the covers off, and everything he told me every single person to bring mac and cheese. Oh my God. And he... At first, we were so confused, but he just wanted to have the contest to see who made the best. We couldn't even be mad because he specifically asked everyone if they liked mac and cheese, so he knew we would eat it. That's kind of sick, but it's also just like it's a cool novelty idea. Like, but then you get actually there and you realize that there's only mac and cheese to eat. Like, it's just tasting other people's mac and cheese. That's all it is. Like, there's no meat. There's no nothing. Like, maybe one of them. Like, everyone's going to go for the one that has, like, the ham in it or the brisket or whatever. Like, or the just like, yeah, let me just try that one. That one looks like kind of the best one here. But I didn't get a chance to have that one. Could you mind if I have, like, maybe, like, 4 more scoops of that one, actually? It's like choosing the one with the least amount of cheese. For today's, Bobbert says, for today's poll, both would probably crash society. Yeah, that's very true. Both probably would ruin society. Anyways, okay, we're going to take a quick break. And then we'll be back in with today's episode.
Saí da escola já com uma formação profissional no currículo? Metodologia por projetos? Preparação para o Enem? Atividades extras gratuitas, como acesso a oficinas, simulados, vagas de estágio, Olimpíadas do Conhecimento e muito mais? Esse é o Ensino Médio Técnico do Senac. Quer saber? Senac. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino médio e saiba mais.
Welcome back, all my favorite people from all across the vast reaches of the internet, to another episode of the Red Asks Us podcast. So, this is going to be a really tough one for you guys to all answer because I know my listener base is very young. And not all of you know a CEO, but even if you've just like seen someone, like a boss of yours get fired or something, anything like that, or even just something you want to look up on the internet, that would be fine by me. If you guys want to look up a cool CEO ruining a company story, I would be super down if you guys commented and just like, told us a very interesting, maybe kind of crazy story. But as you can tell from the title, what's the fastest way you saw the CEO ruin the company? So first one comes from Sel Darren. A construction company near me was pulling 100 to 200 million in revenue every year and growing constantly. Then the owner died and his fratbo fail son was handed the reins. I love how these two words are back to back and they're also together. They're not like two separate words. Frat bro fail son. Like frat bro fail son. Like I mean I've heard frat bro, but fail son, like that's just, we've had so many failing sons over the last few years that we now have to coin the term fail son. It's like, yeah, my it's gave birth to one of those fail sons. He never lives up. We're just talking about AJ from The Sopranos. Like, these goddamn fail sons ruin everything, hey? We can't have anything nice. The goddamn fail sons ruining, they take all the cars and drive them and all the expensive ones and destroy them. Companies go in the dirt and in the dust. All these fail sons, man. Running companies on coke. Within a month, a quarter of the employees had either been fired or quit. After 4 months, the rental companies were showing up and repoing lifts and cranes and carry decks in the middle of the day because they weren't being paid. Almost 3/4 of the employees had quit by this point because paychecks kept bouncing. Before 6 months had passed, what was left was sold for a pittance to another company that just wanted what was left of the maintenance contracts. So like 6 months to bomb the company he'd been groomed to take over since he was a teenager, to rubble and piss on the ashes. Listen, bro, like, you don't have to take over your dad's company, all right? You can just, like, hire someone to run it for you, still make a lot of money by just hiring someone to run the company, but you still own it. Like, I don't understand. If you don't want the power to own, like, if you don't want to dictate what's going on, you know, the company's existed for probably a long time, you know, $200 million. Let's just say the company's existed for 10 to 20 years, right? It's like, you know, why do you even want control of that? Really? A construction company? If a construction company was given to me, okay, so say like my dad started a construction company, right? Just because my dad started the company doesn't mean I'm naturally born with an affinity for construction. Like, it's not like I come out of the womb and I'm like, damn, you guys better have a hammer out here and nails because shit's not in there. Shit was not back in there, okay? I'm looking, like, where's the drill bit? Like, where are the drills? Where are the power drills? Can someone get me a forklift? Like, there is no forklift back in there. I cannot see one absolutely anywhere. So, yeah, someone's got to put me on, dude. Someone's got to put me on because this is just fucking ridiculous. Like, if you don't want to, I mean, maybe the dad pressures you in, but, like, if the dad dies, you don't have to do shit, okay? Just fucking hire someone to run the company who's probably been there for 10 to 20 years. Just, you know, give them the upgrade, make them run it, and then you just go and kind of check in. You literally have nothing to do. You taking an active role in the company is almost definitely going to give you a worse off chance of actually making money from the company than it is if you just probably hire somebody to do it and then you still get to like reap the profit. You know, like I don't understand, like, what is your sense of entitlement attached to? It's like you spent most of your life like pursuing like sociology. Like, you're just like, yeah, I just really want to become a sociologist and just study human behavior and human trends in society and, you know, also run a construction company. Those things go really well together. You know, those things are just hand in hand. Everybody knows that, you know, studying years to become a sociologist, you know, really dedicating themselves to that master's and then the PhD and actually becoming a doctor, and you know that is inextricably tied and linked to running a construction company. Everybody knows that. So, you know, it's kind of part of the thing is, you know, that's most sociology doctorates ask you when you apply for your doctorate if you own a construction company or if you're going to be owning a construction company, because it's kind of a prerequisite to get accepted, you know. It's kind of how it goes these days, you know. It's getting more and more specific, right? It's getting tougher to make the cut. Next one comes from JF2K4. Just saw on the news a Texas logistics company CFO was sentenced to 51 months in prison for wire fraud for transferring company funds to his bank account and destroying the company, causing it to shut down and lay everyone off. The kicker is he was convicted of the same felony in 1994, so second time he'd done it. What were they thinking hiring this guy? Like, oh, it's you on your resume, so you've actually done this kind of job before, and you were, very similar job, and you were also arrested for logistics fraud at the same company? Wow. I mean, seems like you got the qualifications. I mean, seems like you got, like, but you served your time, though. You served your time, so obviously you learned your lesson, and, but yeah, it seems like you know exactly what you're going to do with the company. That's the vibe that I'm getting here, is that you've, you know, kind of been through the ringer. You get how it works, and now it's your opportunity to kind of, you know, take the reins again. Take the reins and you just, you know, you instill that corporate culture. You know, really instill that particular way that you have about going about how to run a business that's just like the one that you used to run and stole all that money from. So it's like, yeah, it seems legit. Like, how can you just like, yeah, so lots of experience, ran similar companies, you know, convicted of wire fraud. I mean, looks fine to me. Like, looks good to me. Like that looks looks like there's no red flags here. No, this looks all perfectly in order. That is crazy. How do you just not think you're gonna get caught for wire fraud, especially just your own bank account? I was listening to this interesting YouTube video today that was this guy talking about how people launder money and the process of laundering money. I listened to a YouTube video for 20 minutes today, and I probably could have laundered money better than this guy. You don't even want to make a shell company. You don't want to create a consulting firm or some bullshit thing. Crypto, you could have done crypto. But if you work in logistics, you probably know technology or someone who knows technology. You're literally working with computers all the time and people who work with computers. And you just thought nah, this isn't going to be suspicious at all. Just direct wire transfer. Yeah, I'm just going to take this profit money, this money from this account from where you profited, and just kind of directly put that money right over into my bank account. And just hope the bank's not going to ask any questions. Because it's kind of just you know what? I just gave myself a self-inflicted bonus, is what I want to call it. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. So I was like, why don't I just transfer a couple funds over to my own account? I don't even see how this is wire fraud. I wasn't being fraudulent at all. I literally just did it. How is that a fraud? I just did it. I'm rewarding myself for hard work. Okay, that's kind of the whole idea. I just got this CFO position at this company. Obviously, that's hard work. That's hard work. So, I feel like I kind of deserve a leg up on everyone on this one, kind of solidify my position. It's how do you justify that, dude? There's just no, you don't think anyone's going to find that suspicious? Oh yeah, $1 million was just transferred into my account. Just, you know what? That $1 million, that was for business expenses. I just didn't want to use the company credit card. I figured, I might as well just transfer it in my own account. It's all business expenses. It's really? The trip to the Bahamas was a business expense? You work for a logistics company. What are you doing in the Bahamas? All the work you guys do can be done online. You just talk to people on Facebook. What do you need to go to the Bahamas for? Well, you see, that trip particularly, I was trying to figure out the logistics, of how I'm going to get a nice tan this summer, right? And I thought to myself, well, what's better logistics of figuring out how I'm going to get a friggin' tan on if I don't head down there? Most expensive resort, I had to figure out, what my feasibility was going to be like. Okay, the crappy resorts, they don't have great access to locations in the sun. Okay, you got to choose the expensive one. Really, $30,000? That seems a little you could probably put a down payment on a house down there for that kind of money. Well, actually, kind of I did. Yeah, I did put a down payment on a house. I actually put a down payment on a resort down there. But it's purely logistical. Purely a logistical resort. And I love this. Somebody replied, NetDork replied, fool me twice. Well, you can't get fooled again. if anyone doesn't know, look it up. Look up George Bush, fool me twice clip. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't get fooled again. What the hell? He's we got a little saying in Arkansas or something. What? A little saying in Arkansas? I grew up my whole life in Saskatchewan, Canada. Okay, and I've heard that saying since I was a kid. I don't think it's just Arkansas, bro. I don't think it's the Arkansas people have claimed ownership over that phrase. It's no, this is Arkansas's phrase. Next one comes from Keysize8162. Randall Stevenson at AT&T. Randall Stevenson. That name already screaming red flags to me. I don't know why, but Randall Stevenson does not sound like a trustworthy guy. Randall Stevenson sounds like Randall, Like, come on, bro. That just sounds like a guy who's going to meet you in the back alley and, like sell you a fake ID and sell you like a fake passport. Like that he seems like that kind of guy. Like he's just going to give you a suitcase with just like a disguise in it so you can evade the country, like escape the country. It seems like he knows how to evade the FBI. He bought DirecTV and Warner Brothers, including DC Comics, CNN, HBO, and so on, for only $175 billion. Only? Jeez. What is the qualification for you to not say only $175 billion? It was only $175 billion. Yeah, it was, got that shit for cheap. When everyone was moving to stream services, he thought it was a good idea to buy a cable company that was losing customers by the millions and a struggling media company. Me and thousands of people lost their job because of it, including Randall, with a $64 million retirement package. Well, someone had to have it. Someone had to have that retirement package. And you know what? Who else than Randall? Who better than Randall Stevenson to get $64 million in retirement? Like, I'm not going to give that to some new hire, some new CEO. Okay, I took this company down. I deserve that money. Okay, it took a lot to strip this thing for what all it's worth. I don't even like... come on, bro. The idea that people were going to be like buying cable companies, like what do you plan to do with that? It's like that's like a person buying up all the CD players, or like what okay, like it's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit on these, bro. This shit's gonna skyrocket. It's like I don't think I really honestly don't think the people are gonna ever listen to CDs like ever again. Why would I do that? I can have every song that's ever been made ever on my phone right now immediately in less than like 5 seconds. Like, I don't understand. It's just obsolete. It's like buying Blockbuster. Like, you know what? People are going to want physical copies, bro. People are going to want to have to get out of their house and drive to the nearest store and pay money to have this movie for only a little bit of time, and then you get charged more money if you don't bring it back on time, and then, it's the movies that you want are like never available. Like, people are going to love that, dude. People are yearning for that tech to come back, bro, straight up. It's like, really, dude? I'll stick with, not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna stick with Netflix on this one, big boy, big hoss, big boy. Why did I say that? Big hoss.
Ideal mesmo pro mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação pro Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
Quando os bebês sofrem de cólicas, dá até vontade de pedir pro Papai Noel para acabar com elas, né? Com Luftal Infantil, as cólicas não precisam mais ser um problema. Com alívio rápido e eficaz contra as cólicas dos gases, ele age em 10 minutos e é seguro para o seu bebê e não tem corante. Por isso, é o mais recomendado por pediatras. Disponível em todas as farmácias do Brasil. Acesse luftal.com.br e saiba mais. Luftal Simeticona, indicados para pacientes com excesso de gases no aparelho digestivo. Se persistirem os sintomas, o médico deverá ser consultado. Dezembro de 2024.
Next one comes from D-Rez. Called his own products crap to the media. And his products were jewelry. Won't even last as long as a prawn sandwich. Oh my God. Why? Again, that's what creates demand, is crappy things, right? It's like people just like buying something because it's just crappy. It's like, yeah, this TV, it's Roku TV, but it doesn't turn on. So every time I sell something on Facebook Marketplace that's broken, shit's gone, like within 2 seconds, Yeah, TV, Roku TV, screen well intact, doesn't turn on, but it is a TV. I can tell you that. Things gone before I can even put the post up. Like, it's just ridiculous how quick this stuff flies off the shelves. You know, no better marketing strategy than just telling people straight up to just not buy your product. And not only not buy it because it's really shitty. Like, you know what? Let's just cut the chase. Our rings are dog ass, okay? They're all fake, you know, it's gold, but it's really just gold plated, and it's gonna rub away into silver anyway. And the plating's terrible. It's, you know, it's thinner than a piece of paper. You know what? It's just the diamonds, again. The diamonds, Fugazi, completely fake diamonds. I actually think they're made of plastic. Like, I think we collect them off of Barbies. Like all of the Barbie things that have diamonds in them, we just, like, collect them from them. We go to Michael's and just buy those plastic gemstones, those plastic little, you know, shiny, sticky things, and we just kind of stick it right in. It actually works really well. They just stick right into the plastic crest, and there you go. Actually, some of our rings, if you believe it or not, you know, if you put your mouth on them, they're flavored. You know, we thought that might be a fun touch, because when are you wearing your wedding ring and you're thinking to yourself, I wish I had a little sweetness. I wish I had a little snack that I could just, you know, just get a little rush of some sweet flavor into my mouth. And we were like, fuck it, you know? Ring Pop started it, but we're going to finish it, baby, okay? We're going to finish this one. Reply from the Dugong. Cautionary Tales did a podcast about this. What I found interesting is that they pointed out that it could be seen as more of a shitty viral journalism thing. Okay. I need to listen to it again, but the IIRC, the speech also continued. What, I feel like an idiot for saying that out loud. That means something, but I don't know. Continued along the lines of, why shouldn't the average working class person have a decanter and wear jewelry, etc. But the media went along with his audiences gawking at the poor people not being able to afford expensive stuff. A decanter? Is that like your best? Is that what he said? A decanter? How much is a decanter? I feel like that doesn't, like, cost a lot of money. Like, is that like a thing? Like, can I get a decanter for cheap? Like, how do I get a decanter? Decanter for sale? Let's look this up. I can get what the hell? What even is a decanter? This is not what I thought it was. Is it just like a glass bottle for whiskey? You can get one on Amazon, a whiskey decanter for $39.99. People can't afford this? Is this like a thing? Like, are you how out of touch are you with people? It's like, yeah, people can't even afford a, you know, friggin' socks for their feet. It's like, I mean, some people maybe, but like, I think most people in the US could probably have socks. Most people, I think, have socks. Like, that's like that gives me that same vibe of that one video of that politician lady, and she's like, yeah, people in Brooklyn, they don't even know what a computer is. Like, what the fuck? What? Why wouldn't we know what a computer is? And it's just like, there's this like guy, and he's like acting like an ape, like or not an ape, but like a caveman, and he's like bonking a computer. He's like yeah, the youth in Brooklyn, they don't even know what a computer is. Like, really? You don't, like, how out of touch are you? I'm pretty sure most people can buy socks. Most people know what a computer is. These people are so poor, they don't even know what a computer is. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what a computer is. There are, like, countries that are extremely poor, and yet almost everyone has a cell phone. Like, not saying it should be that way, but, you know, I just think you may be a little bit out of touch there. Next one comes from Delanorix. Sears paid Amazon to make their website. Amazon finishes website. Sears execs say it's pointless. Internet is a fad. They give their blessings to Amazon to use the website. How is Sears doing? That's one trend you can't just like hop back on once it's already been done. that was, that I grew up in a time in where the internet was really popping off. Like I was born in 2001. So, when 2008 comes around, 2009, 2010, even by the time 2004, I wasn't alive, or like I was alive, but I wasn't conscious. But, I was using computers pretty freaking young, okay? Like, I grew up going to the computer lab to do all my assignments. I learned all of Microsoft Suite on the computer. I use the computer at school almost every day. It's interesting how, it's like back then, how long did you have to wait before you were realizing the internet's not a fad? Every day, every single year, you see more and more people using the internet. Like, I don't understand. It's like, boss, we just got word that the internet is up a couple million users from last year. Like, this is significant. This is unprecedented. Yeah, it's gonna pass. I don't think it's gonna stick around. No, sir. You don't understand. Like, people have entire business models based around, the internet. People are communicating with each other faster than ever. Like, people aren't even using mail anymore. They're using this thing called email, which allows you to just send basically a letter just instantaneously. You don't like anything. Attachments can go right inside it, like all digital. It's way more efficient. It's super cost effective. It's gonna lower cost exponentially. The user base is constantly growing, and there's high potential to make money off of this. Like, and Amazon, they just got started, but we should start. I don't really like that name, internet. Okay, look, where's the net? What's this net? I've been fishing a lot. That's a net. Now that's a real net. Okay, this internet. What are you catching? What are you gonna catch? Okay, I don't get this whole internet thing. It's an internet. Isn't a net already interwoven? This whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Such a friggin' boomer mentality. That's makes tons of sense to me. Reply from Gateville. This has always been crazy to me because Sears was in the position to become Amazon, if not bigger and better, since they were already existing corporation and not like you guys had the stock. Like, you don't even you didn't want to just do it on the side. Like, you didn't want to just pursue it as like a side venture. It's like, hey, I know we're making a lot of money right now, but we can make even more money and just by doing this thing that we hardly have to put any effort into. It's like, you know what? Oh, it's too much. Too much for me. Too much for me. I don't really feel like paying some developers minimum wage to make the website. You know what? It's fine. I think what we've got going on right now is kind of like, when has that ever happened in the past? Like, cell phones, any form of brand new communication, any of these types of things. Like, when did that just become a fad? Like, you were still riding your horse and you were just like, yeah, these car things, man, no, it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. These car things, man, this is just people are gonna want to ride horses again. People are gonna want to stick to their horse. It's just simple logic. Yeah, and they just blew it big time. Yeah, makes sense to me. Sounds pretty classic. Bog. My name is Bog. Bob Chapek's takeover of Disney in 2019. He immediately hired finance buddies into creative positions and prioritized making money via their parks and had quantity over quality approach with their movies. Oh, really? Now that we've seen how that's played out. Oh, when's the millionth Marvel movie coming out? Oh my God! Did you guys see Doctor Strange 47 is releasing next week? The ring of the sewage dimension. He had a green lighting of an insane amount of projects, which led to overworked staff, bad quality production, and as a result, disliked projects and failing entertainment properties, mainly Marvel. Yeah, it's. You know what? You know what makes no sense to me? The movies that are good already exist. All you have to do is just look back on what made those movies good and just do that. Like why are we adding all of this bullshit into the movies that makes it terrible? Like, it's like, you know what? You know what's better than any of the X-Men movies of the early 2000s? How about we do like 40 different TV shows that all have their own stories, but also interweave into movies that people have to know in order to watch the movies and for the movies to actually make sense. And then why don't we just fill it with a bunch of terrible animation that we just never even like used before, ever, and fill it with a bunch of like comedy that is so off-brand. How about we just fill it with dialogue that has nothing to do with the previous few movies and all of the other things that made our last movies extremely successful? Why don't we just do none of that and just deviate from it completely? Like, you know how people are used to this, and you know they've identified with this brand and genre of movies and the way that we do things. Yeah, why don't we just like keep the same names but just make it totally different and basically unrecognizable? And how about we just get super cheap on like all the sets too, so it's like super obvious they're on Hollywood lots. People love that. People love that. Yeah, dude. I think this is gonna take off. This is really gonna go someplace. Oh my god, dude. It's annoying that Disney owns so much, and yet not everything Disney endorses or makes is terrible. Like, I don't know, isn't The Bear on Disney? Like, that's good. And like they have like FX stuff, I guess. Like, you know, it's not everything that's funded by Disney's bad, but everything that's like, you know, corporate controlled. You know who makes the best movies? You know who writes and creates the best movies? Finance bros. It's just such a fact. Like, finance bros are like, I just want more fucking CGI, more fucking explosions and shit. Fuck. Yeah, like, why don't we just have, like, 40 billion different movies with just, like, everything CGI and just, like, we'll just have to pay nobody. And then just, like, explosions everywhere. That's just, like, and just, like, zombies and stuff. Zombies? This is Marvel. What are you talking about zombies? Why are you talking about zombies? I don't even know, man. I'm just, like, the creative juices are flowing, bro. Creative juices, like, how about you put, like, Frankenstein in there? And, like, freaking Silence of the Lambs or something? Or, like, freaking Megatron. How about Megatron? How about Megatron's the next Marvel villain? How about we have, like, the Joker and, like, Megatron, and, like, they like, come together and are, like, the Jokertron. How about the Jokertron? Yeah, let's do that versus, like, Captain America and Iron Man with, like, you know, freaking Batman and, like, Superman or something. And, like, they all verse each other, but then they, like, all actually, like, all are friends and like each other, and then they all just, like, kiss at the end. It's like, okay, but that seems like you really have a great handle on what it means to be creative and actually talented. This guy he's going off the charts with this. Next one comes from Sand to My Neck. Took a job at a tech startup in the 90s with a promise of fast growth and opportunity. Things really took off in the second year, and we opened up several more branches in different states while I was promoted to a production manager. The company hired a young CEO who's only a couple years older than me. Sometimes he would stay at our location for a couple weeks at a time. And he started driving really nice sports cars to work. And when he would leave to other cities, he would leave his cars in the parking lot of our branch. There were Corvettes, Porsches, Audis, and more. The second year of promising growth, the business suddenly stopped while the owners visited and yelled at the entire crew for not managing our money and told us that they were in debt over $1 million. We were all given the task of dismantling the equipment and preparing it to be sold and shipped before being let go. On our last day, when the building was empty, we all noticed that the row of sports cars was still there, and the owner had placed signs for sale on them. It turned out that they were all bought as company vehicles, and the CEO had done this at each business location. We were still all yelled at in a furious rage by this CEO and owner for not being responsible people. Wow, that is, when all else fails, just blame your employees. Blame the people who work for you. You know, you guys should be working hard enough for me to buy 3 Jaguars this year. Or this month, because I've been to all 3 different locations in the same month. So, you guys really need to step up your game, okay? I literally have a Porsche that is being shipped here in a shipping container, okay? Top of the line. And it seems like you guys are really not working hard enough for me to have this Porsche. Do you not want me to have this sick freaking car? Like, it seems like you guys don't want your CEO to be seen as successful. Like, it seems like you're actively wanting this company to have a poor reputation because you just don't want people. See, this is how people need to know the companies are successful, right? Everyone judges the success of a company by the freaking amount and expensiveness of the cars their CEO drives. Like, friggin', it goes up from there. Bezos, yacht. Bezos has like a bunch of yachts, okay? And when you think of Bezos, you think of yachts immediately. That's what I think of. What else would you think of? He just cruising around on yachts. Like, you guys, that's you guys whose responsibility it is to get me to the yacht level. Like, you think Jeff Bezos is sitting up in his, yacht saying to himself like, oh, this yacht was all by my hard work. No. That's employees who got him that yacht, and he knows that. He's like, yeah, the employees, they gotta, they're grinding for me to have this yacht. And that's what they need to keep doing. They need to just stick their head under the water and just keep grinding because it's all about image, all right? It's 2024, folks. Let's be real, okay? That's why only the women are getting Botox. Only the women, all right, are getting Botox. Every man who's over 205 pounds, you're fired. You're fired. Like, if you're not jacked and you don't own a Mercedes, like, get off the property. And we're doing Botox for women. You have to pay for it, though. But you have to get it in order to work here at the company. Because it's all about image, folks. How do you expect us to be a successful production company if we don't, if we don't have the image? It's like production company. It's like we're Dunder Mifflin. We make paper. Like, what? Like, no one even sees us. I don't think most of my clients have never even met me in person. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up there for today's episode of the Red Asks Us podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the show. Please go ahead and leave us a rating or leave us a review if you like the show, and please go and spread the show. It helps the show out so immensely much. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, wherever you go ahead and do that, Spotify or wherever else, please respond to this week's episode's prompt by telling us a cool story about, maybe a failed business that or a CEO who screwed up. Or even just maybe if you have something that a boss did and ruined the business, just let us know. We were all going to be super happy to hear that story. Please go ahead and join the subreddit r/Reddit Asks Us on Reddit, where there's a new mega thread posted every single week. And please respond to the poll. And that's about it. I love each and every single one of you. Peace out. Love you. Bye. See you next week.